Well, the stakes could not be higher. Over $400 billion in federal dollars will be distributed to communities based solely on population. A population that will be determined in the next few months by the 2010 census. Today, our focus is on the importance of standing up and being counted. And we begin in small town Oklahoma. Few people make the turn into Drummond these days. A farming community in north central Oklahoma, Drummond's population has dwindled to just over 400 people.
We're definitely a rural community. Farming plays a big portion of our community. Oil is a big part of it.
David Burford has been the town's mayor for close to 5 years and says small communities like his struggle to provide city services with such a small tax base.
As a small community, we have to rely a great deal on grants and things of this nature
to fund capital improvements like this fire station, a building that houses not just fire engines but also serves as a common gathering ground for community events. So when the 2010 census arrived in the mail, Mayor Burford knew the importance of getting everyone counted for grant applications.
We need the numbers to continue. Every time we back up, we go to the numbers of people and everything. So it's very important that people get that information out.
And Drummond isn't alone in its struggle to remain viable. More than half of the nation's 400 farming-dependent counties lost population in the 1980s and 1990s. An OSU economist Larry Sanders says to expect the same once the final count is made for the past decade.
The estimates are already showing, if you look at 1980 and the population was 42% rural in Oklahoma, estimates say now for 2009 it's going to be 36%. So we're seeing a real decline in rural population in the state.
What is driving this?
Well, it's lots of things. In particular, we could probably say that incomes are less in rural Oklahoma by about 20%. Jobs and the types of jobs are just not there the way they are in opportunities in the urban areas.
And Sanders says with 89% of farm income now coming from off-farm sources, the vast majority of farm families can no longer depend on the farm for their sole livelihood.
As agriculture gets more efficient, they need less human labor to do what they do. And so we saw the mechanical revolution in the 50s and the chemical revolution in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. And now we're seeing this higher tech revolution where you just don't need the labor, so you don't need as many people living in rural areas as before.
What type of impact could this have on our rural communities?
I think the tax base is going to be an issue. They're going to look at property and sales taxes and maybe look at changing them with general revenue taxes. Per capita, trying to maintain and enhance infrastructure is going to be a problem.
So towns like Drummond became increasingly dependent on population-based grants just to survive.
Of course, our schools are foundation. We're working with a $250,000 grant to put up a wind turbine for the school, and we're doing everything we can to establish and continue the traditions of the community.
A community whose fortunes may rise or fall with something as simple as filling out a form. And to see my entire interview with Dr. Sanders, just head to our website at okhorizon.com and click on Value Added.